I figured I'd do a quick response video to Heidi on the tick subject and just throw in my 2 cents on a couple of points. Yeah, the deer tick thing is a real problem here, huge problem. I've had Lyme disease 3 times and it's nasty stuff, and I have a relative who died from it. I mean, once it gets into your brain, you're kind of screwed, so it can be pretty bad. The whole problem is created because we gave deer control to the hunters. We're letting the Department of Fish and Game, which is basically just a hunting lobby, decide policy and how many deers will be killed, and so they just keep killing enough deers to maintain an excessive population. So they kill about 1/3 of the deers a year here in the state with bows and arrows and such. So they kill them very inhumanely. And the problem is just maintained. They haven't put a dent in it in the last 10 years. It's just disgusting. 30 years ago, you maybe saw 1 or 2 deer a year. Now they'll chew on your house. I mean, they're just all over the place, and it's a horrible menace. I mean, besides the Lyme disease problem and the spreading of those ticks, each deer carries approximately 150 ticks. Each adult deer. 27,000 cars in the state are in a reported accident with a deer every year. People are killed in some of those accidents. And they do a huge amount of crop damage, landscaping. They just eat everything. You can't grow a garden in the Garden State anymore. It's called the Garden State. That's our nickname. You can't grow a garden unless you've got 10 feet of fence. You're not growing a garden here. And it's just tragic that our civilization, our state, the region that is affected can't come up with any coherent policy. And part of the problem is hunters are a very small minority of people. Very small, 1 in 10, maybe less. It's mostly the cops and the firemen, the real redneck Bubba types, who take pleasure in sadistically abusing animals. But nothing gets done because there's enough sympathetic types out there who just think, oh no, don't kill the poor deers, and so they get a little bit of support from that, and then they get a lot of support just from ignorance. I mean, most people don't understand that they're not going to fix the problem. They say, yes, kill them, but they don't inform them they must kill enough of them. So they're never going to kill enough of them, because if they have a vested interest in just killing a small percentage, 1/3, so they can just maintain the overpopulation problem. And it's been maintained for 10 years. I mean, the problem's been around for more than 10 years, and they've done absolutely nothing with their policy in that time. The problem just keeps getting worse. So it's really insidious. But it's the Bella types. I mean, she's commented on Heidi's video and made a whole stink about killing this tick, and it's just so silly. I mean, we have so much suffering going on in this world with animals and creatures we know that are obviously sentient, that obviously feel deeply and profoundly and meaningfully, and to waste energy on a little reproducing machine, and that's all it really is, with a minuscule crude brain of which you can have little expectation of any kind of complex sentience going on. Yes, it might feel. We don't know how much or what. But its life is not elaborate or sophisticated. It doesn't love, it doesn't feel any of the grander emotions we're capable of. All it is a sadistic, it derives pleasure from its infecting and destroying of other creatures, its parasitic behavior. And for Bella to see some problem because Heidi killed a tick 2 weeks before it would have died anyway. They usually die after they lay their eggs. It's just silly and stupid. They have a cyclic lifespan, and so an adult females aren't going to be around too long. They'll do their job, they'll lay their eggs, that'll be the end of the game. This is like worrying about swatting mosquitoes. Like, you think in, the 45-day lifespan, it's going to make any frickin' difference to the mosquito when it gets squashed, when it drops dead. It's just silly to waste emotion, waste energy, ridicule somebody, make somebody feel bad over something so idiotic when there is just so much obvious blood and guts in front of us. so much more important things to fix and to take care of. This is just preposterous wasted energy. Bella, you're insulting sentience, and you're insulting intelligence with this nonsense, with this over-principled babble. Like I said, this is a little. Would you want to live as a informed Tyrannosaurus? If you were a Tyrannosaurus and you had an intelligent brain and knew what you were doing, what would you do? Would you still eat things alive, or would you jump off a cliff? I mean, maybe if a tick knew what its life was and the consequences of its behavior, maybe it would want you to humanely and quickly kill it. All right? I mean, Heidi didn't torture it. She didn't impose any unnecessary grief on it. She just eradicated it, as it would have been eradicated eventually anyway. And it had no ambition to do anything, Bella. Like I said, it had no aspirations that were any better than the crudest kind of gross ambition and desire. So you're just being preposterously silly, and I suggest you just grow the fuck up.